In a galaxy far, far away, two little girls had crushes. One ended happily, one ended in heartbreak. How do you recover from being rejected? And when do you know when it's time to cut off your crush? Join the Star and Kiki show to find out.
And that's Star.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Bye.
And I'm Kiki.
Don't do that again. And welcome to the
Star and Kiki show.
Now, shh, because Dad's sleeping.
So, Star, what should we talk about today?
Crushes?
Crushes. Do you remember your first crush?
Yes, his name was Leon.
Leon. I love it. And what do you?
Leon.
How old were you when you had this crush on Monsieur Leon?
I was.
Yeah. You were 2 years old. So you were in preschool, and what do you remember about Monsieur Leon? This is why we want to talk about crushes, because it makes you giggle and feel good inside, no matter who you're crushing on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember how he always used to, when we would have cupcakes, we would only get one on our table, and he would always used to share them with me.
So wait, it was a very specific way that you and Monsieur Leon shared le cupcake. Do you remember?
I took the frosting and he took the cake.
You never ate the cake. You only would eat the frosting.
Because I didn't like the cake and he didn't like the frosting.
Yeah, it was a match made in heaven. These kids couldn't have been better suited for each other. We would go to birthday parties and I would watch him take the top off his cupcake and then put it in front of her, and then she would lick all the frosting off of her cupcake and give him her saliva-ridden cupcake, and he'd be like, no. As far as I'm concerned, that was toddler true love.
So who was your first cut?
My first crush, I was 4 years old.
Oh, wow,
I know, you were so much more precocious than I've ever been, but what makes me happy is there's so many things that you're not into that I was when I was your age. So my first crush was a boy named Paul, and I was convinced that he looked just like Paul.
Wait, you just said his name.
But nobody could ever, I don't even know what his last name is, so it doesn't even matter if that's his real name. That's his French name. Paul, Monsieur Paul.
Monsieur Paul.
Monsieur Paul. So I thought he looked just like Paul McCartney, and his parents had this. Oh, Paul McCartney is a songwriter. He was with the Beatles, so he and John Lennon, they wrote a lot of songs that people recognize. And so I didn't know who the Beatles were, but I knew my mom had a crush on Paul McCartney, so I knew what he looked like. So I thought my 5-year-old boyfriend Paul looked just like Paul McCartney. And we would carpool on the way to school, and I was in preschool and he was in kindergarten. And it was magical, these little transportation trips that we would take, because his parents had this amazing station wagon. You're not into my story. That's so not supportive. You're in? Are you listening?
Yeah.
All right. So, like, normal cars have a front seat and a back seat. This station wagon not only had a seat behind the back seat, but it had a rhombus seat. So you could jump into the trunk and then look out the back. And so we would, like, jump over the back seat, jump over the back seat, and then we'd jump into the trunk, and then we'd sit. And he took my hand one day, and I just remember I was the happiest girl in the world. And so we had this little courtship on the way to preschool and kindergarten. And then one day, my class went to his kindergarten class so we could watch a movie together. And I was so excited. I probably walked in, then I was like, hi, Paul. And he totally did one of these, like, I don't know who this girl is. I don't know why she's waving at me. And I just remember I was only 4 years old, but I felt so betrayed because no one could deny the moments that we had shared in the back of that station wagon. But he was embarrassed of me because it was okay when no one could see us together, but when I walked into that room and everyone knew that those were the preschoolers and they were the kindergartners, they were better than us, and he was ashamed that he knew anyone who was younger. So he missed out. I cut him like a knife, and from then on, I did not want to sit in the backseat with him. I did not want to hold his hand, and I did not want to share his snacks. So, Paul, I'm sorry. I heard he was a car dealer or something when he grew up, but you missed out by being bad and mean. So, Stella, how should people treat each other if they actually like each other? Should they care what other people think? And if they let other people's opinions affect them on whether or not, and if other people's opinions are more important than their feelings for you, what do you think you should do?
What?
So think about my story with Paul. See, I love the story with you and Monsieur Léon because it didn't matter what disgusting thing you did. He adored you, and he didn't care who knew it.
Wait. If he adored,
he adored
no,
you.
Wait.
You guys would sing together, and he would hold your hand, and you would sit there and you just giggle at just stuff. Your preschool teachers were like, these kids are special.
No, wait. If he enjoyed it, what if he still remembered me?
I know his mom will ask. We'll ask if Monsieur Léon to Souvien remembers you. Okay, so let me ask you this. If you have a crush on someone and they pay attention to you, but if their friends are around, they're mean to you or they pretend like they don't know you, what should you do?
I think you should just cut them out of your life and go on with the day, and you don't talk to them as much as you do before, because you know that they're just trying to be as quiet as possible to not know you, even if you're like 2 grades under or something.
So why is that important?
Because when you know that when they turn away from you and you feel like you're drowning yourself in water, and you're not going to be able to come back up because you know that you've been heartbroken.
Yeah.
And the way it's important is to not dwell on it and to move on, so you don't think about them. And if they do that, then they're not the person in your life that you want to have.
That's right. And I found that not only should you not stand for that behavior, but if you don't like yourself, you're more likely to fall for that behavior and that trap because you're just kind of desperate for any kind of attention. So if you find yourself in that cycle, the easiest way to break it is to take inventory of the things about yourself that you dig. And if you don't like anything about yourself, spend a little bit more time with yourself because you are amazing. That is amazing.
No.
It is. All right. So
the
moral
of
this
story
is
that
you
don't
have
to
settle
with
busted
hearts.
So the moral of the story is you don't have to settle with busted hearts, my friends. Take that with you.
Okay, bye.
And if you have another suggestion, leave a comment below.
You don't want bad comments at all.
Well, just you can tell us what you want to hear.
Yeah. Bye. This has been the weirdest video ever. Bye. In a galaxy far, far away. Why did I get hired for this title? Why do I get hired for this job? I have too many lines. Ah! Okay, well, I didn't read all that.